Tina Turner was at the peak of her biggest tour when she suddenly stopped mid-song during her Nashville concert. As 18,000 fans tried to understand what was happening, Tina collapsed on stage and began crying, because there in the front row, for the first time in 3 years, she had seen her estranged daughter. What happened next that evening would never be forgotten in pop music history. October 15, 1988, Nashville, Tennessee. The Bridgestone Arena was echoing with one of music's most powerful voices. Tina Turner's Break Every Rule World Tour was in the heart of America, and tonight Nashville fans would witness a legendary performance. The arena was completely sold out, tickets having been gone for months. 49-year-old Tina Turner was at the pinnacle of her career. The Private Dancer album had made her an international superstar. What's Love Got to Do with It? Better Be Good to Me and Private Dancer had become worldwide hits. MTV was constantly featuring her. Radio stations had put her songs on heavy rotation. Every concert sold out in minutes. On the surface, everything was perfect, but behind the glittering stage costumes and powerful vocals, Tina was experiencing deep pain. 3 years earlier, due to family drama, she had become estranged from her 16-year-old daughter Sarah. During the escape process from Ike Turner, Tina's personal life had shattered, and family relationships had suffered. Sarah had grown tired of her mother constantly being on tour, the constant media attention, and her own teenage identity crisis. She chose fame over family, Sarah had told her friends bitterly. I don't exist in her world anymore. I'm just a memory that exists in photographs. Sarah's anger had much deeper roots. At a young age, she had witnessed her parents' violent fights, seen what Ike had done to her mother, and then experienced her mother's sudden disappearance one night. Tina's escape had been perceived by Sarah as sudden abandonment. Yes, her mother had provided her with a safe place, covered her school expenses, and even continued financial support from afar. But what Sarah needed wasn't financial support, it was her mother's presence. During those 3 years, Tina had tried countless times to reach out to her daughter. Phone messages went unanswered. Birthday gifts were returned unopened. Christmas cards were ignored. Every concert night, before taking the stage, Tina would silently pray, maybe tonight she'll be in the audience too. In every city, every arena, every concert hall, her eyes would search for her. Sarah's absence had opened a deep wound in Tina's heart. Every success, every applause, every praise, felt incomplete, because the person she loved most, her own daughter, wasn't there to celebrate with her. When she was alone in hotel rooms at midnight, Tina would often look at her daughter's photographs and see and cry. She would remember Sarah's first song at age 5, the poem she wrote at 10, the first time she danced at 13. Where did I go wrong? Tina would ask herself. How did we drift so far apart? How did I lose her while trying to protect her? Actually, the root of the problem went much deeper. The traumatic years with Ike Turner, violence, control, abuse. Then the escape, economic hardships, the struggle to get back on her feet. During all of this, Sarah was still a child, unable to fully understand what her mother was going through. In her eyes, her mother had left home one day, become famous, but had never again been just mom like before. Sarah was fighting her own internal battle during these 3 years. She would see her mother on television, read about her in magazines. She would watch with pride, while anger grew inside her. She sings for thousands of strangers but doesn't have a minute for me, she would think. While her friends envied her famous mother, Sarah knew very well what this really meant. On the evening of October 15th, preparations began as usual. There was the typical pre-show energy backstage. Band members were tuning their instruments. Dancers were doing their final rehearsals. Sound technicians were conducting microphone tests. Lighting technicians were performing spot checks. Tina, in her dressing room putting on her gold-sequined costume, looked in the mirror. Every successful night felt incomplete without Sarah. Tonight's going to be special, said makeup artist Diane, rubbing Tina's shoulder. I can feel it in the air. It's like something big is going to happen." Tina smiled, but felt the familiar emptiness inside her. No matter how much applause she received, no matter how much praise she heard, when she was alone backstage, she was reminded that she was just a mother without Sarah. Stage manager Mike came to the backstage area. "Tina, 5 minutes to showtime. Tonight's audience is incredible. Completely sold out, 18,000 people. Tennessee loves you." Costume supervisor Linda did the final check. "Everything looks perfect. You're ready to take the stage." At 8:30, the arena lights dimmed. The audience's roar was deafening. The opening beats of "What's Love Got to Do with It" filled the arena. The crowd went wild. Tina Turner took the stage with that iconic energy. Wild hair flowing in the wind, powerful legs striding across the stage, her voice commanding and mesmerizing. The first 3 songs were flawless. "Better Be Good to Me," "We Don't Need Another Hero," "Typical Male." The audience went wild at every note, hands in the air, voices united, the arena beating like a single heart. Tina was in complete control, her stage presence overwhelming, her performance breathtaking. "Nashville." Tina called out to the crowd, her voice echoing throughout the arena. "You beautiful people, are you ready for something special tonight?" 18,000 people were screaming frantically. The scream shook the arena ceiling. This was Tina's signature moment, when she made that magical electrical connection with the audience. "Tonight I want to take you to a very personal place," Tina continued, her voice becoming softer and more intimate. "This next song, it's about vulnerability, about loneliness, about missing someone you love. Sometimes our most fragile moments are when we look strongest." The melancholic opening chords of "Private Dancer" began. The crowd calmed down, feeling the intimacy of this song. This song was always an emotional challenge for Tina. The lyrics contained loneliness, longing, a desperate search for love. This was actually her own story, the inner world of a woman fighting for survival. "I'm your private dancer, a dancer for money," Tina sang, her voice emotion-laden and fragile. The first verse was perfect. Tina covered the stage, touching every corner with her voice. Moving into the second verse, she was following her usual routine, walking to different parts of the stage, making eye contact with the audience. Just like every concert night. "Do you want to see me dance another way?" she sang, her voice seductive and mysterious. But suddenly, the spotlight illuminated the front row, and Tina's world stopped. There, right in the center of the front row, sat a 16-year-old girl, her long brown hair flowing over her shoulders, Tina's own eyes looking at her, the familiar jawline undeniable. This was Sarah, Tina's daughter, whom she had longed for, searched for, dreamed about every night for 3 years. The song's melody continued, but Tina's voice trembled, then stopped completely. She lowered her microphone, her face contorted with shock and disbelief. It felt like her world had collapsed. "Sarah," she whispered, but the microphone caught everything, and it echoed from the arena speakers. 18,000 people noticed the sudden silence. The music continued, but there were no main vocals. The audience began confused murmurs, worried whispers. "What happened? What's wrong with Tina?" Sarah looked directly into her mother's eyes. For the first time in 3 years, tears were welling up in her eyes, but she stood there with determination. She too had waited for this moment for 3 years, dreamed of it, feared it, but today she had gathered her courage and come to Nashville. Sarah knew her mother was giving a concert here. She knew how difficult it was to get a ticket. But last week, with the salary from the cafe where she worked for a school assignment, she had spent all her savings to buy a ticket. She had bought the most expensive front row ticket. She wanted her mother to see her. Tina froze in the middle of the stage. Overwhelming emotions, shock, joy, fear, love, guilt, hope. She was experiencing them all simultaneously. Her knees trembled. Her hands shook. It was as if the world had stopped, and only she and Sarah remained. The band members realized something was wrong. Lead guitarist David looked worried, looking toward Tina. Keyboardist Janet lifted her hand from the keys in confusion. The backup vocalists exchanged worried glances. Drummer Mike tried to maintain the rhythm, but the tempo became uncertain. "Oh my God," Tina whispered. "Is this real? Is this a dream?" Sarah slowly stood up. Tears were flowing down her face, but she had a brave smile. She was trembling, but determined. "Mom," she mouthed, without making a sound. That word completely broke Tina. Years of separation, guilt, regret, love, longing, everything crashed down on her at once. Her legs couldn't support her. She collapsed on the stage, covering her face with her hands, sobbing uncontrollably. All her stage makeup was running. Her vocal cords were trembling. The Nashville audience immediately understood that something profound was happening. This wasn't an ordinary concert moment. This was deeply personal, intimate family drama, unfolding in public. But instead of judging, they felt empathy. Everyone had difficulties with their families. The music gradually stopped. The band members didn't know what to do. Nothing like this had ever happened before. 18,000 people watched in complete silence, holding their breath. The arena was so quiet that Tina's sobs could be heard. Tina walked to the edge of the stage, with tears streaming down her face. Her steps were uncertain, struggling to find balance. Security personnel worried, but stepped back at Tina's signal. "Sarah, baby," Tina called out, her voice broken and trembling. "Is this really you, or are my eyes deceiving me?" Sarah nodded, her own tears flowing freely. "Yes, Mom, it's me. I came. I missed you. I bought a ticket," Sarah replied, her voice barely audible. But the arena was so quiet that every word was heard with crystal clarity. "I wanted to see you. I wanted to hear you sing. For 3 years I've been seeing you on television, in magazines, but I wanted to see you in real life." 18,000 people were witnessing the most intimate mother-daughter moment, but no one felt intrusive. This was a secret, beautiful, human moment. Many mothers thought of their own children. Many children remembered their own parents. Can you come up here?" Tina asked, extending her hand, her voice mixed with hope and fear. Sarah hesitated, looking at the massive audience around her. She realized thousands of eyes were looking at her, but she saw her mother's outstretched hand and nodded with determination. Security quickly arranged steps. Sarah, nervous but determined, climbed onto the stage. With each step, her heart beat faster. Mother and daughter separated for 3 years, finally face to face. When they embraced, Bridgestone Arena exploded. 18,000 people screaming, crying, applauding. This wasn't ordinary applause. This was emotional release, a communal celebration of love and forgiveness. Most people had tears in their eyes. Tina hugged Sarah tightly, apologizing, whispering words of love, saying 3 years worth of missed words. "I'm sorry, baby. I'm so sorry," Tina repeated. "I never wanted to abandon you. You were always in my heart." "I missed you, Mom. I missed you so much," Sarah replied. "Every night I watch you on television. I watch with pride, but I feel lonely. I'm lonely too, baby. Nothing means anything without you." The audience watched this unfold. Mothers thinking of their daughters, children thinking of their parents. This transcended celebrity. This was universal human experience. After several minutes, Tina, still holding Sarah's hand tightly, approached the microphone. Both their faces were wet with tears, but they were smiling. "Nashville," her voice still trembling, "I want you to meet the most important person in my life. This is my daughter Sarah. We hadn't seen each other for 3 years, but she came here tonight. She came to forgive me." The audience exploded again. Supportive, loving energy. "Welcome, Sarah," some shouted, applauding, whistling. "And tonight," Tina continued, "I want to sing something very special for her. I want to show her how much I love her." She gestured to the band. "Can we play Simply the Best?" The band immediately understood the significance. This was Tina's anthem of empowerment, strength, love. But tonight it would have a completely different meaning. "Sarah, this is for you, baby, because you really are the best. You're the most important part of my life." The opening chords began. This time there was a different energy. This wasn't a performance. This was a declaration of love, one of the most intimate moments between mother and daughter. "I call you when I need you. My heart's on fire." Tina sang directly to Sarah, her eyes never leaving her daughter. Every word took on new meaning. Every note was filled with 3 years of separation, regret, love. This wasn't just a song. This was a mother's letter to her daughter. Sarah stood beside her mother, tears flowing, her bright smile lighting up her face. 18,000 people singing along, most with tears on their cheeks. "You're simply the best, better than all the rest." Tina sang, her voice stronger and more sincere than ever. When the chorus came, something magical happened. The entire arena joined in, not just with the artist, but with family, with love, with hope. 18,000 voices became one voice, celebrating mother-daughter love. "Better than anyone I've ever met." 18,000 voices joined Tina's in harmony. This was no longer a concert. This was communion, celebration, a healing moment. One of those rare moments that showed what music's greatest power was. The song ended with enormous standing applause. Many people were crying, but more importantly, mother and daughter were reconciled. 3 years of pain melted away in 10 minutes of public love. Tina finished the rest of the concert, with Sarah watching from the side of the stage. Every song had new energy, new purpose. "What's love got to do with it?" became a celebration of family love. "We Don't Need Another Hero" became an anthem of forgiveness and empowerment. The encore lasted more than an hour. The audience didn't want the magical night to end. Tina invited Sarah back on stage. They took the final bow together. Backstage, the family reunion continued more privately. Sarah explained how she had followed her mother's career from a distance, how she had bought this ticket, determined but nervous about reconnecting. "I realized I was punishing myself more than you," Sarah said. "I needed my mother. You're my hero, but you're also my MOM." Local Nashville news covered the story. Video footage of the reunion went viral before social media even existed. Local TV stations, newspapers, radio shows, all covered Tina Turner's miracle Nashville night. Years later, Sarah would become one of Tina's closest confidants. She traveled with her mother on subsequent tours, not as a performer, but as family, support, love. "That Nashville night saved our family," Tina would say in later interviews. "Sometimes you need 18,000 strangers to witness your love, to realize how important it is." Sarah, now successful in her own career, still considers that night life-changing. "I learned that love requires courage," she reflects. Sitting in that audience seat, walking onto that stage, it was the scariest and best decision of my life. Nashville concert attendees still talk about that night. Most say it was the most powerful live music experience of their lives, not because of vocals or performance, but because of the power of raw human emotion. Bridgestone Arena today has a small plaque commemorating that night. October 15, 1988, the night music brought family home. Tina Turner's Break Every Rule tour continued, but the Nashville night remained special. It proved that music's greatest power isn't entertainment, it's connection, healing, love. Sometimes the most important moments happen when we're most vulnerable. Sometimes 18,000 strangers provide the perfect setting for intimate family healing. And sometimes love really is simply the best. That night in Nashville, Tina Turner performed not only as an artist, but also as a mother. 18,000 people witnessed music's true power, the power to bring families together, heal love, give hope. This story reminds us, no success is more important than our relationships with our loved ones. Sometimes the greatest victories are won, not on stage, but in the heart. If you want to hear more untold stories of Tina Turner's incredible life and career, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Share this video with someone who believes in the power of family and second chances. What's your most memorable moment of reconciliation? Let us know in the comments below.